trying to free your mind, Neo, but I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it. You have to let it all go, Neo. Fear, doubt, and disbelief. Free your mind.
This is the Mind is Mine podcast. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of the Mind is Mine podcast. I got my boy, the storyteller, Nathan Roper. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great. Great to be here to support, and I'm the storyteller, y'all. Holla at your boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I kind of wanted to give you the open floor and explain who you are, what you do, your vision, because I know you have a big vision, especially catered towards the youth. So if you just want to break it down for the audience, go ahead.
Well, what I do is my passion is for the youth. I feel that has been misunderstood and forgotten somewhat. So I go to places normally people do not go to do the interviews. It's in the trenches. Wherever I go, no matter if I'm out of state or whatever, because I believe in them. And then I understand that there was an epidemic going on in the 80s. And a lot of gang banging, shooting, drugs, etc. And a lot of people withdraw from the youngsters because of that. Yeah, I understand that. But there is a door opportunity now that God has allowed. And I feel that it's my social duty to be a friend of mankind. And so I'm going through it to try to help. And I would appreciate it and hope that others would come along on a ride with me.
Yes, sir.
What future do we have if we don't save the youth? So that's basically my main goal, and what I'm doing is coming from the heart. It's something I'm very passionate about. I've been doing it for about 4 years now, independently. And it's not a game, it's not a gimmick. It's about making a wrong right. And for me, talking to a lot of the youngsters out here for many years, they got a heart. They got a good heart. We just got to sit down and communicate with them.
No, for sure. For sure.
And that's what I've come to understand and see. And a lot of people don't understand. These youngsters that I do interview, I have to do a lot off the camera to get them to trust me to really be able, to interview them, because
for sure,
they just ain't gonna do that. And God has blessed me with that gift and that understanding and that direction and how, when, to approach and get them to do the interview. So that means a lot to me as well, because before I leave this earth, I want my footprints to be imprinted here. I want people to remember me because, like I know, whether it's 30 years or today you passed away, in a little short period of time, people will forget about you. You won't be a thought, a memory, or nothing unless you have a dynasty like a Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, something like that. And I want to impact their hearts and let them know that there's someone out here who cares about you, who loves you, and who's willing to instill something into you so you can have some value. And they'll teach their children and their friends. So I live on through that, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I was like, that was going to be one of my questions, was the type of legacy that you want to leave for not only yourself and for your family and your friends, but for all of the youth, especially here in St. Louis, because, I can definitely agree with you. And I've seen the neighborhoods that you've been in. And also, that just tells you the neighborhoods that you grew up in as well, and how much you really stand 10 toes down for those neighborhoods and care for those neighborhoods and the people in those neighborhoods. So like, what is the legacy that you want to have for mostly the STL youth, the St. Louis youth? And before you're gone, what do you want to leave here for them to always not just remember you, but remember all the good things that you have done and continue that legacy onward?
Well, first of all, the things that legacy I want to leave behind for us in the inner city of STL is that there's someone out here who loves you, who care about you, who have your best interests at heart, and also have an impact on the community. Perhaps like I do on social media, I film a lot of old vacant houses and explain how it affect the youth and why it should be torn down. A lot of them been up for like 30, 40 years.
So where in what specific neighborhood did you live in and grew up in St. Louis too? That will definitely help.
Oh, okay. Well. I grew up in the Ville. That's Ville is over there by Annie Malone. Where Annie Malone at Children's Home, old Homer G Hospital. I went to Sumner High School. I'm a Bulldog. And it's a lot of neighborhoods where I went down and I seen, and it touched me real bad too, you know, in a negative way, so to speak. But just say on one block, you may have 15 to 20 houses, just say, only 3 or 4 someone staying in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's very humbling to me and very sad, because you have these children, they come out, they don't have no neighbors, they don't have any friends that stay on their street because of all these investors just leaving the house up there. And most of the investors that's in that neighborhood, they don't even live in Missouri at all. They live like in Texas or somewhere, you know? And that's not right for us as an adult to allow children to live like that. They should be able to go outside and have friends to play with, things of that nature, not just going out and the dope dealers on this side over here and their parents tell them don't go no farther than the front porch or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that's very humbling to me. And after so long, you know, a lot of the parents in that neighborhood, they're not there by choice.
Yeah.
They have to be there. This is where their income afford them to live until something can come up better and they can move their child into a better environment. But a lot of them spend their whole life there and in that shell and never get a chance to venture off. And that's sad, you know, and I want to make a change for that. But for me personally, my legacy to everybody, I want everybody to say he was a good man. Mm-hmm. He was someone who cared about you. He had a lot of love in his heart. That's the ultimate goal for me, because the number one priority is love, and God is love.
Yes, sir. When I first met you, we met through BMW when I was working there recently, just got out of there. When I first met you, I could definitely already tell that you had that type of spirit. You had the will to help people, and that was your primary focus, was to help people, let alone just help yourself. You know, you are very humble. You have dedicated your life to being a servant, primarily for the youth, and being able to catch that energy without you having to show me any videos or you having to even start a conversation with me is definitely powerful, and it's a testament to who you are as a person. So I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
But what I really want to understand and what I want to know is, like, what was what or when was that moment that the youth truly inspired you to be an advocate for the youth? Like, what was that moment in your life, if not one moment, a gradual period in your life that kind of showed you, like, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to serve, this is my purpose?
Well, it really happened a while back when I got incarcerated. I was locked up and I did 27 and a half years. My case is complex. Mm-hmm. I had everything that I wanted, and I was working towards that far as when I was out to go to the Olympics to become a professional fighter, which I would have, and I know in my heart I would have had a belt. And it was one thing that I was missing in my life that I wanted, because understand I was into swimming, boxing, gymnastics at the age of 4, so I had no time to mingle out with and meet friends or anything. And I seen people in the neighborhood, you know, as I got a little older, you know, I want to know what it feel like to have a friend.
Yeah.
And I met someone, only knew him like 5 days in my life. Different hours add up together. And one thing led to another, and I got incarcerated. And at that time, my lady, she was pregnant. And so I went through that transition, and 27 and a half years later, I get out. But before that, while I was in prison, what hurted me the most is not being in prison, not getting wrongly convicted and things of that nature for us, you know, the sentence-wise, was not being able to be a father to my son. Mm. That hurted me, even right now today, that hurted me so much. So I said, if I ever get an opportunity to save a youngster life, that's what I was gonna do. So as time went on, I was in MSP, that was the walls. When I got there, there was only one level 5. Either you're gonna make parole from there or you're gonna die there. It was the bloodiest 48 acres in the world, I believe. And they had a sign when you got off the bus, when you get ready to go in, a big sign that said, leave all your dreams and hopes behind. And that was a true statement. But anyway, as time went on, I wasn't in no trouble, and I was 5 years free of a violation. And I was able to, they started building other counts, level 5s within that time, but I was able to go to a level 4 or 5 override up under the grandfather clause. So when I made that transition, I had to prepare myself for a whole year, because it's a different ball game from the way I grew up in MSP and going to a level 4 or 5 where youngsters I'm finna encounter now, and they, you know, in the walls, if you say something or keep looking at me too much, then you might get stuck. But in the level 4 or 5, them youngsters gonna say that, that's how they is. So I had to mentally prepare myself to be able to handle that and understand these things can happen. And then when I made that transition and went down there, I was coaching. I started coaching A, B, C league, basketball, softball. I was coaching everything, soccer, whatever. And I got a lot of youngsters on my team.
Yeah.
So I got to intertwining with them, and something just spoke to me and said, this is your opportunity to make an impact in these youngsters' life. You can do what you want to do. You can do what you have not been able to do with your children. You see what I'm saying? Through them. So that's how that began.
Now that's a dope story. That's a dope story. It's very unfortunate that you had to go through all of that. But it's once again a testament to who you are and how strong you are to get through that. And now you're free. And now you're actually, you know, you didn't leave those hopes and dreams behind you. If anything, you picked up right where you left off with new energy and new hope behind that. So, you know, I enjoy listening to that story of resilience. I enjoy being around somebody of resilience. But I think what you're doing is absolutely incredible, especially on the type of scale that you're doing it. No matter how small or how big it is, the fact that you're doing it is all that matters, because we need more people like that. And
appreciate it.
I've lived in STL all my life. I lived in St. Louis all my life, and it's a special place with a lot of opportunity, a lot of potential, I would say, especially on the north side, parts of the south side, and the east side. If we all come together with all the lawmakers and all the leaders and actually put forward some type of change, because like you said, there was houses that will be on one block and only 1/3, maybe 1/4 of all the houses on that block will have people in it. Everything else would just be vacant, almost torn down, broken down. I mean, the east side downtown has buildings from the riots back in the 20s that haven't even been touched at all since then.
That's right.
And it's just, every time I go over there and every time I go over to the north side and see that, like you said, it's not fair for a young black child, 9 times out of 10, to wake up and see that as his environment, see that as his reality every single day. And it just seems like not a lot of people, or not enough people, are putting the time and the effort in to make a change.
It's not healthy for any children.
Yeah.
Black, Chinese, white, or whatever. It's not right, because it's like they depend on us to protect them. Because the house is started in the household. The father and the mother or the father, whoever have guardians of them, if both there, that's great. It started at home.
Yeah.
And once they mold them at home and teach them their values and morals and principles and et cetera, outside of the household come the guidance of the world.
Yeah, we're at a point now where a lot of households are getting broken. Where divorce rate is going up is about like 50-60% here in the United States. A lot of broken households. I grew up in a broken household. Shout out to my dad for carrying the load with 3 kids, holding it down. But one thing that's different for me is that I never grew up in those neighborhoods. I never lived that life. I've always been in the county. I've never lived in the city until now. It took 24, 25 years for me to actually stay here and actually experience, the city life. So growing up in the suburbs like Webster or Afton, something like that, is completely different to what you experience here in the city or on the north side, east side, and parts in the south side. So like seeing what you do is actually like you're kind of putting me in the footsteps of that child, of those kids that live in those neighborhoods, and giving them their story. And what you said earlier, like establishing that trust with them, making sure like, hey, I'm a friend. I just want to give you the spotlight to hone in on a certain perspective. I think that's so key, because a lot of youth doesn't have that voice, or a lot of people just want to shut down the youth altogether.
Correct.
And say like, hey, you're not smart enough, or you have to be a certain age to be thinking or talking this certain way, but you don't care at all. You go to kids of all ages and have that conversation. I remember the first time we had an interview, which was back in like 2021. And obviously my goals back then were a little different because I was still playing baseball. But the fact that you gave me the platform before I even had a platform, even thought about having a platform, to speak my mind and to, speak my dreams into reality, and, gave me an opportunity to share that with everybody and let them know like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I want to do. Even if that changed since then, I really appreciate that so much.
Yeah, everybody have a story. Even the children have a story. Mm-hmm. And their story need to be told. And What I'm doing basically from interviewing I love what I do. I go to sleep to it. I wake up to it. I dream about it. I think of creative ways to do things. And I'm very meek when it comes to what I'm doing. I have patience.
Yeah.
It's going to come at its right time. Everything is about timing. And I give y'all a voice in hopes that other people that's in power can see this and say, okay, we see a pattern. We hear a pattern in all of them. Let's try to correct this. Let's try to work with this and help these youngsters out. Because when it's all said and done, they are our future.
Yeah.
They the one gonna structure tomorrow. I don't care if you live in O'Fallon, St. Charles, wherever you may live at, for suburbs or whatever. Them inner city children, they are your neighbors, child's neighbors. A lot of them is not, believe it or not, is in trouble, and a lot of them is smart. So they can get a pass to be able to go to a better education out there, but they've been brought up in this environment. This is all they know, gang banging, selling drugs or whatever, but they just never been locked up, and they can go out there and get a pass to go to their school out there and influence your children.
That's one thing I've definitely seen too, being part of Story Stitchers. For those that don't know in the audience, Story Stitchers is a nonprofit organization that helps 16 through 25-year-olds of the youth have a safe space to come in and create whatever they want. Music, dance, film, art of any type.
Support them.
Yes, sir. Support.
I was there for the grand opening.
Yes, sir. And we appreciate that support as well. I mean, you were supporting before I was ever a part of it. You and Trey Don were the ones that really told me about it, and being a part of that has changed my life. But being around those kids that are from those neighborhoods, some of them are from those neighborhoods, and they tell me stories. And we watched a movie. I keep forgetting the name. It'll come to me later, but it was a documentary about a couple years ago during the Mike Brown situation that was going on up in Florissant. It was telling about a documentary about a girl that got kicked out of school, and she went to one of those schools that if you get expelled out of school, this is like your last chance before you do your own thing on the streets or you go to jail. And just seeing that reality and like seeing some of the kids that go to Story Stitchers or the people that work at Story Stitchers actually know who that is and know the journey that she went through, the movie will pop up in my mind. If I don't think of it, I'll put it in the description. But just like seeing that is like incredible to see that.
Right.
Because you do the same thing. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Pertaining to the movie that you saw, even though we know it's real life, we see that like this is your last choice, going here. That should never be placed up on a child.
No.
This is your last choice. You're on your own after this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just...
I don't agree with that at all, You never give up on a child.
Yeah.
You never give up on a child. You find a solution to the problem. This is why you are the one with wisdom. This is why you still exist at an older age. You are the gatekeepers. You have to find a way. Some problems going to be harder than the next. Multiplying is more easier than algebra.
It's called for a king. That's what it's called, for a king.
Right, for a king. Right,
Yeah.
okay, I got you. Yeah, but I'm saying never give up on a child.
Yeah.
That child may be the chosen one. That child may be the one that's going to make a big impact in this world in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Regardless of the struggles that they're going through at that particular time. You got to understand the environment they come up under, what's going on in the household. these are the things you got to get down to the root of the problem. See, when I came up in the 70s, I was born in the 60s, but when I came up in the 70s, it was a lot of love. We had social workers always come to the home, checking on the children, everything okay, and this, we had that. Or if something goes on at school where this child is acting out, that means that's called detail. When a child act out in school constantly, it's detail. Something is not right.
Yeah.
At home, and the social workers, the teachers will let the principal know, and the principal will call the board of education, and the social workers, they come in, they do their investigation, they try to help protect this child, to get this child a better life, because back then we knew that, they was our future. The youth of today is our future. So as time went on, things got taken away and it became sociable accepted. We ain't gonna worry about this. You know what I'm saying? Just send them over there. Teachers and stuff, and just be honest. Teachers and stuff like, oh, you're gonna be locked up within 2 years. Putting all these thoughts in this baby head.
Yeah, that was one thing that was shown in the movie. Is like a lot of these kids do commit these habits and create these habits, I must say, and automatically have it in the back of their head, like, I may not live this long, so I gotta live all my life right now, no matter if it's good or bad decisions. And I didn't have that reality at all, so it was just nice to see that. And also, I'm sure you had conversations with some of the youth that would talk about that as well.
You and I never had that reality.
No.
Especially me, because even when I grew up, they had pimps, real pimps, on Washington and Sarah. That's where the Players Ball used to be at in St. Louis, where they come from all over the world. That's the original, what they call, host road. And the pimps, the gangsters, the drug dealers, the prostitutes, all of them, they didn't play that. They would they would grab you by your arm. Hey, baby, don't be like me. They'll tell the little girls, the prostitute tell the little girl, don't be like me. I'm stuck in here. Look at me. Be better than me.
Yeah.
The pimps would tell the youngsters that. The gangsters, the killers, you would tell the youngsters that too. Don't be like me, man. You the chosen one. Make something out of your life. Do this for the struggle. Go. So it was different then.
Yeah, we got the music and
I just wanted to speak on something that you were saying earlier about the youth of today. They feel like, I got to live for today. I ain't worrying about nothing else. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
I don't like that, but it's a reality. It's an entity now. It's a fact. It's because of the way things are taking place that they feel that they have to live for the day, and it became sociable, accepted among them it's a badge of honor if I die early.
Yeah, we got the music and the media kind of promoting that too. The violence and drugs and sex a lot. So that is also added to the problem as well. But since you're the storyteller and you give a bunch of people the opportunity to tell their stories, what have you learned from the stories from the children, and how have the children inspired you through their stories?
Well, first of all, they inspired me from hearing their stories, that I'm doing the right thing, to keep going.
Yeah.
You the chosen one. You the chosen one. And from hearing a lot of the conversation and talking to them, not only on the camera, but off the camera, I get a chance to really get into their innermost dark secrets.
Yeah.
And that touched me so much, that they are human. They might be out there selling drugs or whatever, but when they communicate and they open up, and it's like they've been yearning to open up, they won't. They all say, oh, the people don't listen to us. And when I encounter with them, explain to them my mission, what I'm doing and everything, and they open up so beautiful to me.
It's like a sigh of relief.
It's like, right, it's like they able to breathe. Mm-hmm. So in essence, I get it, I breathe the breath of life into them.
Yeah.
You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, of course.
And I embrace every moment of that. And I'm so happy to see that, feel that, and witness that. So when they do get on the camera, if you pay attention to my video, you'll see them speaking their heart out.
Yeah.
As if, they're a normal child that never been in a ghetto, that never sold drugs. They speaking their true feelings. And then I always do at the end, ask them what type of advice would they give to the youth that's coming up under them, that's looking up to them. And they go even deeper. They go even deeper to tell how they truly feel, what they truly wish would have happened to them. Someone, explain to them. So those are the rewards that I get. Those are the blessings that I get. People want blessings in a major way. Not I. Just waking up that day in it's just beautiful. I feel good. That's a blessing that I get from what I'm doing. And I'm okay with that, and I recognize that, and I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And for them to see me constantly when I'm traveling around, or the ones I interview and stuff like that, and with their friends, they be like, that's a storyteller. Hey, storyteller, how you doing? They come talk to me, communicate, what's going on? You okay? And everybody youngsters that I encounter, like with you and other youngsters that pass through the job, I still stay in contact with.
Yeah.
I have that type of love and that trust. People see me all over. The ones that was in the joint that I was coaching and stuff, they see me all over. They jump out their car. Coach. Glad to see you, different things like that. Those are the blessings that I welcome and that I embrace and that I was hoping to see. And that's what I want, nothing else, nothing less, nothing more, to make a difference in life. And I'm gonna keep on doing that, like that song by McFadden Whitehead, ain't no stopping me now, I'm on the move.
Hey, that's a banger though. That's a banger. That's a great song. I do, somebody calling you. I do appreciate that a lot. I do appreciate that. And some of the people that you talk to at the job that went through the job are some of my closest friends. You talk to Josh, you talk to Tony. Shout out to Josh and Tony, by the way. Yeah, man, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And that's why I wanted to give you this platform. And also it connects to what I do, even though we're not fully talking about Mrs. Psychology, which is what Mine is Mine is about, is that the one thing that we can really connect with and how it correlates is that you're giving power back to the people, primarily being the youth, showing that, they're going through pain, but also showing that they have potential to change the world, let alone their own community and their own life tenfold. And I appreciate that. That's, again, why I needed to put you on this platform so you can get that word out. But in terms of spiritual growth while you're doing this, so let's talk about a little more what I like to do. And I know you're a spiritual person. And we've had conversations. You've recommended books to me. I've read those books. I appreciate you, recommending that to me. In terms of the spiritual path and how this correlates to youth advocacy, how does youth advocacy help you grow spiritually?
Well, I'm God's son. And it's a story. It's something I always say to people, and they don't understand when I say it. It's a famous quote that everybody in the world knows. when I say I trust we'll meet again, I always use that quote for a reason. And it's tied into what the question you asked as well. You see, one day they had a great feast. Jesus, his mother and them went to it, and he strayed it away. And his mother, they searched for him for days. And she finally went up to the guard that was outside the temple. She asked him, have you seen a boy yay high? He said, yeah, he's in there disputing the doctrines with the doctrines, right? And when she came in, she said, my son, where have you been? We feared some great harm made it overcame you. He said, don't you know I must be about my father's work? And he stood up when she said it was time to go. And he shook all of their hands and he said, I trust we'll meet again. So that's what I get from that spiritually. I'm doing what Jesus has done.
You just being a vessel, you're a servant.
That's it. And Jesus, who Jesus hung out with? The murders, thieves, rapists, etc. That's where I go. In the trenches, that's who I talks to. And I'm not afraid, so my faith in the way Jesus is doing things and my understanding his philosophy, that's my philosophy. That's who I am.
I love that too, because you don't discriminate nor dehumanize anybody, regardless of what they've been through, regardless of what they do currently, or even any type of future thoughts of what they're doing, especially for the youth. I appreciate that a lot because, you can honestly tell through your videos that you're being a servant. And I was talking to Malachi about this yesterday because we recorded. And I told him, I was like, what you do for basketball, not only is basketball serving you, but you're being in servitude to the game of basketball and to everybody that's a part of that. For you, it's youth advocacy and just, being a vessel and bringing those messages, and also just being a platform for the kids to, speak their mind. You're serving your community rather than the community serving you. Like, you're always going to be served. You're always going to be taken care of. But the main source of how you get taken care of is being a servant to the people around you, being a servant to God, being a servant to the community. I mean, you're putting God back into the picture, into the community as well. It doesn't even have to be about a certain religion. It's just God in general, and bringing back those spiritual values and foundations back to the youth, which, I feel like over time has been diminishing in a way.
Right.
And when you start to diminish spiritual integrity, you start to diminish your personal integrity as well. That's one thing I've noticed within, the tale of humanity, I guess, the history of humanity. It's like when you start to exclude God, that's when we start to go on our own path. And, 9 times out of 10 that it becomes destructive.
It's like back in the biblical days, we had long lifespans then, right?
Yeah, it was like 120 years, wasn't it? Or way more?
Even more.
Okay.
200, 300. And like you were saying, applying it, bringing it up to the modern day, it's kind of diminishing, keeping God out there, religious, earthly salvation now, right? It's kind of coming to be like part of the norm. And, they was living that long for them many years back then until they started to stray it after gods they knew nothing of, or worshiping gods they knew nothing of, such as jewelry, money, camel, these things of that nature. You see where I'm coming from now?
Yeah.
So moving on up to the modern day now, they doing the same thing. They started worshiping colors, drugs, guns, money, women. So they strayed out the gods they know nothing of. So back then in the biblical days, their life got cut short because of that, right? Survival became a law. So their lifespan got cut short. back in the biblical days. In these modern days, lifespan got cut short from when I grew up and now, because they straight it out the gods they know nothing of. You see where I'm coming from now?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm just painting a picture for you, but remember, God could dream a bigger dream for you and I than we can dream for ourselves. God is the master planner. Seek not to understand him too much. He's indescribable. God don't move pieces. God move boards.
That's true. There's no face to what we're talking about as well. There's no form to what we're talking about. So it's like we just have to allow that energy to do its work and speak for us.
All it's going to do is work, because look at what you're doing. Look at what I'm doing. God, when God say be, it's going to be. God, okay, it's like this, so now I'm going to send the gatekeepers out there.
Yeah.
We're going to save y'all. We're going to get y'all.
Yeah, this servitude right here.
Right, that's all. So we good. We good. We good. Everything got to take its course.
Of course, man. It just takes time. It takes time.
Just like when you was young. People in the family say, he a bad little boy, or stop all that crying. And father be like, or the mother be like, he got to learn the hard way. Let him be. Same way now. Let them be. They got to learn the hard way. But you still got the gatekeepers there that's going to come, you know, when they most vulnerable. We watching. When you need us the most, we'll be there. And we're going to pick you up, pick your soul up.
Yeah, you just allow God to step into your life. So, I mean, you're just being that for other people. You're not forcing it upon anybody. It's like, hey, this is just my choice, and you have the same choice as I do. I just made a certain decision that works best for me and the people around me and helps my spiritual growth.
That's right.
Way better than anything else.
I just get people, youngsters, to start to thinking they're going to save themselves. You just got to get them to thinking.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all you can be.
That's
is a
all
messenger.
you do. Once they start thinking, they're going to save themselves.
I feel like that's interesting too. Have you ever, when you started doing this and started being, taking youth advocacy a lot more serious, was there something in the back of your mind, a thought in the back of your mind, like, I have to save these kids? And was there a journey afterwards of changing that mindset, like, oh no, we're going to save ourselves? You know, I'm just going to be a messenger. Was that ever a little arc in your life at all? Or has it always been, you know, I'm just being a servant at this point?
It's in me. It's who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a part of my life, my whole life. So it came naturally. And I just acted on it when the time is right. You know, when the time was right, that's when I had to go on my journey of a servant, because remember, I got locked up when I was a youngster. Regardless of my situation, I have no ill feelings towards anyone. I have no bitterness, no resentment, no anger towards no one for what I've been through. I had to go through what I went through for a reason. That helped prepare me to be the human being that I am today, to see the vision that I'm living today. All that prepared me. I had to go to school, so to speak, and polish up the tools in the workshop of my mind like Jesus did.
Yeah.
So once that task was completed, I went on to another task out here in society, and now it's time for me to go to work. That's all I'm doing. So it's natural.
Yes, sir. That's what I like to hear. I had a little question pop in my mind before you came here. I wanted to know the connection to your boxing journey and what you do with the youth. How has your boxing journey, because, you know, you're starting to get into like training, you know, you stay training. I see your videos on YouTube, on Instagram and Facebook, that you continue to hit the bag and continue to do shadow boxing to stay in shape. How old are you again?
55.
Hey, you're in phenomenal shape for a 55-year-old.
Appreciate that.
I gotta say that.
Appreciate that.
But how has your boxing journey not only helped you on your youth advocacy? Because I know with boxing, not only does it have you in impeccable shape, but there's an extreme amount of discipline that comes with that. And discipline is a great topic of discussion to speak with the youth, and also with spirituality as well. How has boxing help youth advocacy and also keep you grounded in your spirituality and your journey?
Boxing's everything.
Yeah.
To me. But not only boxing, I know I'm known for boxing, but I did all three sports on a high level, gymnastics and swimming, along with boxing. Each one of those complement each other. So even though people know me from boxing and know, I excel in boxing, I excel in those events too. It's just a lot of people didn't come to those events. That's all that was. I have trophies, medals, and jackets for all of them.
Yeah, those are insane sports.
Yeah, and they all
for sure.
And I love it. I love them. You know what I'm saying? And they keep me so focused. It trained me at a young age. At 4 years old, I started. 5 and 6 years old, I was swimming in deep water. I got in the ring early because I was so advanced at 7 years old. So, these things are great discipline sports to be in. It requires all your attention. It helped me out through the spirituality. The main thing was to be patient and to be diligent in your teaching. Mm-hmm. For me to be able to compete on those levels, I had to be diligent in my teaching as far as boxing, swimming, gymnastics. So it goes hand in hand when it comes to religion, earthly salvation. I had to be diligent in that, and I had to be sincere about it. So everything I do, I approach with sincerity, and I get the best of what I can get out. What measures seem good, and to me, I apply it to myself and leave it in God's hand. So it helps me out a great deal, and by me putting in the work, I believe that God is protecting me. God sent the angels down to protect me, and God's give me the words that are off my tongue when I talk to these youngsters, and the words to say to catch their heart, so to speak, it be music to their ears and touch it to their heart. And they allow me to open him up a little bit to show the world who you really are. So I'm happy for that, and I'm blessed for that, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I won't stop for the world.
Yes, sir. Hey, we still got to do those boxing lessons too. I'm trying to learn.
Oh, this spring I'm finna get ready to start training people at my job. We're gonna go up the park right up street when I get off of work, and I'll be up there for about an hour or so to start it off. And anybody else that comes, if they want to stay 30 minutes, that's cool. They want to stay the hour, that's even greater. I feel if you sincere, you come there and you stay 30 minutes, you're going to learn to love it, and you'll stay an hour. You probably want an hour and a half. So that's what I'm finna start doing, and, it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yes, sir. Y'all heard the man.
Yes,
Y'all better pop out. So 2 more questions, and then we're going to have to wrap it up here. So what do you feel, how do you plan to expand your brand and reach others going forward, starting today? Because I know you're always somebody that is looking to expand, wanting to do more with your YouTube videos, get in touch with people that are creative. You were talking to me about a logo as well, so I got to still work on that. Apologize for not getting to you any sooner. But how do you plan on expanding your brand and reaching others on a greater scale going forward? Well,
I have a lot of people that's on social media, a lot of people that I'm friends with that have non-profit organization, et cetera. So once I get my logo and everything together, and my hats, my gears, stuff like that, I will have them to advertise it as well. And I'll be okay. I got patience. I'm going to be fine. I'm not worrying about a thing, and I'm not trying to rush into anything pertaining to my project or what I'm doing for the youth, because it's very sensitive to me. I don't want anybody in my circle once I get my nonprofit going on and that's for the baby. I would be very hurt if I allow someone in that circle that know a little bit more than me or know, I guess, some tricks or whatever, to be able to wig out money and stuff like that, and it comes out and these babies lose faith in me. That would hurt me so deeply. So I have to be very particular about and calculate my moves.
Yeah, of course. And you always got me. I'm always gonna put you out there and continue to give you that spotlight as well. And you never know, we can do the same thing that we're doing today once again. So I'm pretty sure that will happen.
Yes, sir.
Again, also another question. What do you want to leave with the youth today? And also, if you can, what's one thing that you recommend to help not only the youth here in St. Louis, but the youth overall in the country and internationally? You never know what could happen. You could blow up any day. You can possibly blow up today, and now you have an audience over in Japan. You have an audience over somewhere in Europe. You have an audience in multiple countries in Africa, which I know you would love, South America. So, what's one thing that you recommend for the youth all over the world, not just here in St. Louis? And also, what would you like to leave? What words or a testimony that you want to leave with the youth today?
Well, the words testimony that I want to leave with the youth is that you can become who you want to become. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. If you have a desire, if you have a passion, go forward. When them doors of opportunity open up, don't hesitate. He who hesitates loses. Run through them. And stay diligent in whatever you believe in, convicted in whatever you believe your belief is. And I want you all to know that I love y'all. I got y'all back. I'm showing it. I'm not just pointing away. A block of wood can do the same. I'm not just talking that talk. I'm walking that walk. Mm-hmm. So I want y'all to know that I love y'all with all my heart. I'm continuing to do what I do for you all. And don't ever give up. And for those around the world, all the children around the world, find something or someone that's older that you can go to and you can talk to no matter what. Express yourself to them. And they will help you and they will guide you. They just like I am. They just not on social media, so communicate with them. And my ultimate goal for the youth that I would like to have, if I can have 1,000 children march. If I can get more than that, I would love to have that. But if I can get 1,000 children march.
In downtown St. Louis? Or anywhere?
Or anywhere.
Yeah.
Or even if it's a 200 to 300 children march. That's my ultimate goal right there. I could sit back and say, I did that. I did that.
You can set up a bunch of tents too as well. I know you were planning on doing that anyway, especially for Juneteenth.
Right.
Setting up tents and just doing random interviews. You can have a team of people that can come in during that march and just try to talk to as many youth or as many people in the audience that we can and give the perspective of people.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
That's my goal is
that'd be
to
incredible.
Have a team to go out and talk to many different peoples. We get all these interviews from these youngsters and stuff. So that's part of my goal. And also I want to do, a give back demonstration too. More likely I'm going to use you. Where we go out and talk to random strangers, such as the homeless ones, and we're going to give out some prizes and stuff, to them for sharing it. Whoever stopped, we're not going to let them know what we're doing. We're just going to tell their story, and give them something back, and those are the things, these are some of the things that I like to do. So it's a lot in playing. It's a lot going to be going down. So, lace your boots up and pack your camera.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. To wrap it all up, I appreciate you coming out here. I appreciate the conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation with you today. I've been wanting to, we've been wanting to make this happen for a while. You give the spotlight to a lot of people, primarily the youth. So I wanted to reverse the roles. The youth give you a spotlight today and talk about, what you do and all the good that you have done and, what you can do going forward, and just going deeper into your mind and, how you want to bring happiness and joy and change to the world, especially with the youth. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you for coming out.
Oh, yeah. This is very rare.
Yeah.
I do interviews, y'all.
Yeah. So going forward, how can people reach you? Social media, YouTube, if somebody wanted to tune into your videos or contact you, whatever it may be, how could we contact you?
Well, you can always contact me on all my social medias. It's the same. It's RoroTheStoryteller. Mm-hmm. You can contact me that way. I'm there. I'm open for anybody. You need an advice, you need someone to talk to. If I don't have the tools to help you, I know someone that can help you. I can lead you on to them. So we all good. Just, it's all love. Holla at your boy.
Yes, sir. So what we like to do here in Mind is Mine is we want to be the leaders behind transcendence of consciousness and help elevate consciousness to change the world. Bring more of a spiritual or a mystic psychology type of foundation back to the youth and back to the people of the world. Have a more grounded reality of not only of what reality is, but who we are and how we can change the world going forward by changing who we are and realizing who we are and the connection that we have with the Creator, knowing that we are one with that we are one and the same. And having this conversation today, it is a testimony to, how much that you align with that same thing in your own way and wanting to give that power back to the youth. So I appreciate you being in alignment with what I do. I appreciate you taking the time to be here. And final words. I'm gonna let you take it away. I know you got your famous final words to close out the video. So
one love. Holla at your boy.
Yes, sir.